Alright guys, today we have more PlayStation news to go over and talk about. We have multiple topics we're covering as usual, but we do have one very interesting rumor as well that we're going to be kicking this video off with. So before we get into it, if you could do me a big favor and hit the like button to help the video out and show it your support, I'd really appreciate that. And make sure you hit the subscribe button as well if you are new to the channel. But we're starting here with the rumor that claims Remedy Entertainment might be working on a PlayStation exclusive with Sony. So this is reading from Gaming Bolt, and it says Remedy Entertainment has got a lot of irons in the fire. The Finnish developer recently confirmed that it has a total of 5 games in development, and one of these, it seems, might be in production in collaboration with Sony as an upcoming PlayStation exclusive. Claire Bromley, who is the global external producer at PlayStation, has been sharing links for job ads at Remedy from the studio's employees on her LinkedIn profile, and over the past few weeks, she has shared posts from Remedy's COO Christopher Schmitz, communications director Thomas Pua, and audio designer Sam Hughes. In it of itself, of course, that doesn't have to mean anything, especially since a quick glance at Bromley's posting history shows that she has often shared posts from third parties on her profile in the past. That said, interestingly enough, known insider Special Ed recently took to Twitter to claim that to the best of his knowledge, this rumor is real, and added in another tweet that the game is likely going to be a full PlayStation exclusive. Special Ed has been a credible source of leaks and rumors in the past, and even though he tends to mostly stick with Xbox related stuff, he has at times leaked details on PlayStation news as well. Most recently, he leaked that Final Fantasy VII Remake would be the PS Plus game in March before it was announced. But with that said, we have to take all of this with a grain of salt. And so do understand, this is a rumor. This is not official confirmation that Remedy is working on a PlayStation exclusive. It's just a rumor. But I do want to point in the direction of something that may actually add a little bit more to this, because this is all I've seen people talking about, is this individual Special Ed who has apparently been correct about stuff in the past. I'm not too familiar with this person. I think we've mentioned him before, but apparently he has been correct about some stuff. So I don't really know his track record exactly, but it is interesting that we're hearing about this, and I want to refer to an article. This was written up by Push Square back in June of 2019, so almost 2 years ago, and it's titled, "Some Fans Think Remedy and PlayStation May Be Partnering." And so it reads, there's a strange story doing the rounds that PlayStation may be partnering with Max Payne developer Remedy on a new game. It's worth noting that the platform holder has already been fairly, friendly with the Finnish studio since it signed marketing rights to the upcoming third-person shooter Control. This was obviously back before it came out. But some feel that Alan Wake maker may be working on something new for Sony, perhaps even an exclusive. The speculation started last month, so it was actually in May of 2019 when Shuhei Yoshida traveled to Helsinki to visit both Remedy and Housemarque. While it could be put down to the affable executive simply being in the area, it's interesting that the Worldwide Studios president took the time to visit the studio. So at this time, back in early 2019, Shuhei Yoshida was still the head of Sony's first party, or he was the president. And so you go back and you look at this tweet, and Shuhei Yoshida put out, "Thanks, Remedy, for allowing me to visit Remedy Games, their beautiful office, to play Control," and, kind of hyping up the release of Control in August. Now, it is worth noting here, okay, that if you were listening, he also paid a visit to Housemarque Games at around the same time. During this time, I was speculating that either one of two things is happening. Sony is trying to secure some exclusive game deals, or they might even be inquiring to maybe potentially try to acquire one of these studios. We look at Returnal, right? There's no doubt in my mind that when Shuhei Yoshida paid Housemarque a visit back in early 2019, it was to sign Returnal as an exclusive game. I'm sure that Housemarque maybe was already working on something like Returnal, or maybe they had some ideas, maybe they were pitching it and they just needed the funding to really give it that AAA level of quality that they wanted to achieve. And so I'm pointing this out because it's very interesting that pretty much 2 years after this has happened, roughly 2 years, we're now hearing that apparently Remedy, one of these 5 games that they have in development, is a PlayStation exclusive. Could it be the sequel to Control and it ends up being a PlayStation exclusive? I think it's possible. Sony did have the marketing rights maybe they want to take it a step further. I think that that would be amazing. I think that would be a huge get for Sony. If not that, could it be a new IP? I think that's just as likely if this is true. I've seen some people mention maybe it'll be Max Payne 4. As much as I would absolutely love for that to be a reality, I don't think that can happen because, as far as I know, Rockstar Games is still the owner of the Max Payne IP. So that doesn't mean that it's completely impossible, just extremely unlikely. But either way, this is still just a rumor, and I don't want to get anybody too excited, but I am definitely going to be paying attention to this, and I will be, keeping my eyes peeled to see if we get any more information on this or if anything comes out. I want to say that if this is true, if this is a real thing that Sony does have with Remedy, there's a good chance we will learn about it this year, but we don't know if this is true, and we don't know when this deal may have been struck. So at this point, I want you guys to let me know down in the comments below whether or not you believe Remedy Games is in fact developing an exclusive game for PlayStation, and if they are, what game do you think it would be? But we're going to move on from that and talk about something that's not so great, and that is the fact that Foxconn has apparently given us a little bit of an update on when exactly this global electronic component shortage will come to an end. I'm sure many of you are well aware that this is a serious problem that's not just facing the gaming industry, but pretty much every industry, and it's really putting throwing a wrench, I guess you could say, in the manufacturing of these new consoles. I mean, people are still struggling to get a PS5 and even an Xbox Series X, which is unfortunate. And so, we have Foxconn. They're coming out here. They are the supplier and the manufacturer to many of these tech heavyweights around the world, including Apple, Microsoft, Google, Sony. And in the company's recent investors call, the CEO said that though the supply of components in the first couple of months of 2021 has been relatively better, it's going to become more constrained going forward, and that the shortfall is actually going to continue until at least mid-2022. So you're looking at maybe May, June, or July of 2022, which is extremely unfortunate and disappointing news, but the reality is this is just how it's going to be. So in other words, if you are somebody who has been struggling, I mean really struggling to get a PlayStation 5 or even a next-gen Xbox console, and it's just, you notice it's becoming more and more difficult, this is why. It's because it's going to get worse before it gets better. I think this is honestly terrible because it's already impacting game development when it comes to developers and publishers fully embracing next-gen development only. So it's going to prolong that. But obviously, you want to see both Sony and Microsoft sell as many of these consoles as they can, so that way they can be more heavily supported, and more people can obviously have access to them and use them and play games on them. But this is no doubt going to negatively affect and impact sales for both of these consoles. In fact, I just read recently that apparently the Xbox Series S has actually outsold the PS5 in India because there just weren't enough PS5s to sell. That's crazy to me. So you're seeing a tangible impact on sales. So unfortunately, we are just going to have to wait it out. And, there's no doubt it's going to be a struggle for those who want these consoles, but just hang in there. It will fix itself eventually. It might just take maybe even a lot longer than we were anticipating. But I'm going to end this video by briefly talking about Cyberpunk 2077 once again, because apparently CD Projekt Red is absolutely prioritizing the PS4 and PS4 Pro versions of this game in a desperate attempt, I would assume, to convince Sony to let them sell it on the PlayStation Store. And I do want to highlight that this is actually a good thing, and this is why I applauded Sony for doing what they did, because now CD Projekt Red is feeling the pressure to really hone in on fixing the PlayStation version of this game and not the Xbox version. Not that they aren't doing work for the Xbox version, but this is because they want to get this game back on the store. They're losing sales every single day because of this. And you look at just how big the PlayStation 4 install base is. Yeah, I have to thank Sony for doing this, because it's really kind of, lighting a fire underneath CD Projekt Red to really get this done. This was actually confirmed through Digital Foundry. They did an analysis of the recent 1.2 update, which is a very large update. And so it says when it comes to frame rate, PS4 Pro was always the strongest console, but patch 1.2 makes it stronger by increasing the frame rate in intense sequences by around 3 to 6 frames per second. The maximum gain Digital Foundry spotted was 8 frames per second when compared to patch 1.1. However, the publication did still experience a full software crash, and later shootouts in the game do suffer from drastic frame rate drops. On Xbox One X, the game suffers far more sudden hitches and can get hung up altogether in areas. One major flaw with the PS4 Pro version of the game is that asset streaming has been changed, and that sometimes textures and other items in the environment will be missing on the PS4 Pro compared to being present on the Xbox One X, but this might come down to CD Projekt Red improving the frame rate with this update. So overall, guys, like, regardless of whether, you see it as a good thing or not, that CD Projekt Red is prioritizing the PlayStation versions of this game, the game is still a complete disaster across the board on consoles. So there you go. I've actually heard as well, it's not written up here, but I heard that this latest patch actually makes the PlayStation 5 version worse somehow. So I don't know, man. I'm just glad that Sony is holding strong with this and basically making it clear to them, you're not getting this game back on the store until you fix it. So let it be a lesson to all publishers. That's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope you did find it informative. If you did, again, leave it a like, leave your thoughts down in the comments below, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.